Good morning, flower friends. We are going to do our secret garden tour for the 1st of July. And we're going to start where we always start, right beside the studio. And here is where a foxglove was, but now has been removed because it was done blooming. And I was cleaning up out here. So let's continue our tour. You will notice that many of our foxgloves are done. I am letting them go to seed so that I can collect them and then replant where I want them. This one beside the studio right here is going to be collected because it is a pretty creamy, almost yellow color, which is unusual. I have whites, I have the creamy colors, I have pink with the creamy throats, and I have dark pinks. I have just so many different colors. Over there, back there, as we walk along, I decided to plant one of my numerous tomato plants that I started from seed. If you can see down there, it's in that cage and it's doing quite wonderfully. Here is some beautiful lilies that are about to open. In fact, you can already smell them. They are just gorgeous. They have these little purpley splotches on the throats. And down here, these are all volunteers. The Larkspur are getting going, and there's some smaller volunteer foxgloves in here. And there's also feverfew. And my black-eyed Susans are getting started. So this is just one patch. Oh, I have a honeybee following me around. Okay, we're going to go around, and here is the centerpiece. This has been working beautifully. I have hummingbirds coming every day. These little supermarket petunias have been just doing beautifully. I like how they stay like a thick clump and they don't get kind of rangy, and I haven't had to deadhead them at all yet. I'll probably come through because I see some that are fading, like that one right there, but they've just been doing beautifully in here. And what I didn't expect, I thought they'd be done by now, are these Icelandic Poppies, which are totally the wrong color. They clash. But because they're doing so beautifully, I'm just going to leave them. Those were supposed to be for just spring, and they keep on going. Now here's the pathway that I've been putting in that goes from my tool shed, my pretty little tool shed, and I am putting in ground cover. These all my pathways radiate from my centerpiece, but this is the, let me look down here. That is the little ground cover, and that is a type of crane's bill, hardy geranium, but it only gets 3 inches tall, and it has pretty little, I think that's the pink, little pink flowers all summer long. So I'm really anxious for it to get established. Here's one of my bamboos that I separate. I have a whole video tutorial on how I divide bamboo. I love bamboo, but I keep it in pots so it doesn't become invasive. Look down there, you can see it has a bottom on it so that roots cannot go down into the soil, which they would. And I want you to see up here is some of the spent foxgloves. Sorry, I'm using my gimbal today and I have to relearn it. It's been a while because my larger phone didn't fit in it well and I had to learn how to do it. But look at those delphiniums. Aren't they gorgeous? These are from the seeds I got from Dowdeswell delphiniums. They're in New Zealand. These are a superior to anything you can get in the US as far as seeds, at least for me. The blooms are so thick on these things and they bloom forever. These have been blooming quite a while, a couple weeks now or more. But there's some white ones. They're a little bit shorter, and look, there's more pink ones coming. I don't know if you can see them. They're right between the two whites, but that's a pink. That's really, really pretty. I had several colors that I had ordered. Let me back up. I want to show you here. This is where all the foxgloves were. And you see there's a few left. These I'm letting go to seed, but what I did yesterday was down here at the base, I cut away the lower leaves and thinned out some of them that were spent because they were the same colors as the ones I have here. And I wanted this down here to get sun, not only for the irises, because the irises need sun to recharge for next spring, but also I had cleome seeds fall down in here last summer, and they're supposed to regrow, but I think they were too shaded out. So I'm hoping by clearing this out, I will get some to sprout. There'll be a later summer blooming, but the delphiniums and stuff in here are just going to do fine until then. I'm going to turn around. My back is to my tool shed now. So here is lots and lots of larkspur. These do really well for me, and as long as I keep them dead-headed, they'll keep blooming. And right here is my purple rooster Monarda. I had moved this, but some was still in the ground and came back, so I'm letting that go. I'm letting it just do its thing this year. So let's turn this way, and I'm going to go along this path around the edge. It's just a piece of plywood. I haven't got all my pathways put in yet, but I'm loving that the black-eyed Susans are starting. And the poppies. I was really, really hoping I'd have pink. Whoops. Oh, brick in my pathway. So you see I have pink poppies. And my peach tree back there is loaded with peaches. Thrilled, thrilled, thrilled with that. And all along here, I have things. I've been deadheading my irises. Here's one that needs some work. There's a video on my website and YouTube channel, to show you how I do that. It's nothing fancy. And look, there's a blue delphinium. This is the one I moved from the front back to here. I'm really glad that it's doing good. I need to stake up that poppy. It's kind of leaning over into the delphinium. And my Iceberg Rose. This is my Iceberg climbing rose. It's kind of blown out there, the white, but it's really taken off. I had to put that in a pot. And let's see. Oops, honeybees. He was trying to get on the poppy, and then he wanted my camera. I have tons of honeybees this year, but hardly any. I have hardly any bumblebees, which is very odd. I usually have tons. So I'm going to pan around this way, and you'll see that is an iris that I removed. It's not a big deal that I took it out before it's been in the, set for 6 weeks after bloom. And there's my centerpiece again. So you can see where we're at in the garden. And I'm just starting to tackle this area over here. And there is some dahlias I've put in to pots because of the gophers. So a lot of things I'm now going to pots or containers or lined raised beds because I just can't seem to get those critters under control. So here is the Obelisk Arbor. And that is over here is where the Iceberg Rose is, and I have clematis under there, but they've never done well. I'm thinking the gophers have been nibbling on them. Here's my first dahlia of the season here, and this is Melissa, is the name of that dahlia. And right back here, look at these delphiniums. More, they're doing just gorgeous. And this is an Aglaya daisy, which are real frilly and ruffly, and I need to probably stake it up. My chickens are happily cackling. Here's another delphinium. This one is a blue one too, but I need to stake it. It's starting to lean towards the sun. And I wanted to show you, I'm going to walk around to my veggie garden. And show you what's growing. I have sweet peas right here, down in this, doing well. And this bed is kind of a conundrum. I think the gophers are coming up and nibbling on roots because you see this, that is a green bean. And I planted that way at the beginning of June. And then I'll show you some more in just a minute. We'll get over there. But over here, some more tomatoes. I have some lettuce down there. This is the back side. Oh, look here. This is my Sentimental Rose. Looks just loaded. It's one that I had to save from the gophers. Thankfully, it took off. This I just filled hurriedly last fall with my compost from my compost bin, and I think it likes it. That's all that's in there is compost. I didn't have any potting soil at the time. So here's my obelisks, not my arbor. But the tomatoes are growing. My lettuce is starting to bolt here. I'm letting it go to seed so it will replant, or I can plant it elsewhere. That was a really good variety. It's an heirloom variety, and it has just stayed as sweet as could be despite heat. This was a mix from Renee's Seeds. And here is, I need to stake these sweet peas up. These are sugar snap peas, not sweet peas. But look, down here is, these I just planted a week and a half ago, and see how much bigger they are than the ones in the original bed. So all I could think is the other ones, half of them disappeared, so I figured it's the gopher. And that one that's left is just puny. So here we're on the back side of the Obelisk Arbor. So we've done, this lower section is the vegetable garden. And you see down there, I've got a critter, I think it's a skunk, digging everywhere in my garden. He's driving me bats. Between him and the gophers, I don't know. So anyways, there is the secret garden tour. And then also along right at the base of the deck, those are roses, climbing vintage roses, and they smell so pretty when you walk past them. I've just had the difficulty of constantly having to trim them back because they will snag you as you walk by. But that is the garden so far, and it's still work in progress. And next I will share what's happening in the front. I've been doing a lot of work up front, and like I said, I'll share that for next time. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the garden tour of the secret garden for July 1st, 2020.